The gaming world is evolving faster than ever, and 2026 is shaping up to be a turning point. Developers are pushing boundaries, open worlds are growing to impossible scales, and every new project aims to redefine what we thought AAA games could be today. You'll see 20 incredible open world titles that you simply cannot afford to miss. In this new chapter of the LEGO Batman saga, you're no longer confined to small levels or bite-sized missions. You're unleashed into a fully open-world Gotham built from top to bottom in that charming LEGO style. You roam neon-lit streets, glide from crooked rooftops, crawl through alleys dripping with crime and mystery, and feel like the Dark Knight even in miniature brick form. This story ties together the biggest pieces of Batman's legacy: the gritty comics, the iconic films, the legendary games. You follow Bruce Wayne from the earliest echoes of his training with the League of Shadows all the way to the moment he rises as Gotham's watchful protector.
Oh, you think darkness is your ally? Who put that there? I could have really hurt myself.
Neverness to Everness drops you into a supernatural urban sprawl where the ordinary and the impossible collide. Built on Unreal Engine 5 by Hada Studio, the city of Hetero feels alive, modern, and just slightly wrong, shimmering at the edges as anomalies twist reality. You play as an appraiser, someone who doesn't run from the strange but steps directly into it, investigating, containing, and even weaponizing supernatural disturbances. Movement is wide open. You sprint across sidewalks, scale structures, dive into rivers, and tear through streets in modifiable vehicles. Cars aren't just a convenience, they become an extension of your identity. Where Winds Meet throws you straight into the turmoil and beauty of 10th century China, during the era of the 5 dynasties and 10 kingdoms. You step into the boots of a young swordsman whose past is blurred by secrets and whose future is shaped by every choice you make. The world stretches across more than 20 regions, each lush, alive, and filled with over 10,000 NPCs whose lives shift depending on your actions. You choose whether to be a protector, a wanderer, or even an outlaw. The world remembers what you do and reacts accordingly. It's a sweeping martial arts open world built on exploration, drama, and the chance to forge your own legend. Chrono Odyssey stands at the crossroads of ambition and reinvention, an MMO-style fantasy adventure set in the mystical land of Cetera, where time itself bends and warps. You wield power not just through weapons and magic, but through the manipulation of time, shaping battles and strategies with impossible precision. But the journey hasn't been smooth. After internal tests revealed optimization issues and rough edges, the developers pulled back for a major overhaul, reworking lighting, graphics, and core systems. The closed beta in June 2025 confirmed both the scale of the project and the challenges ahead. Now the game is aiming for a global release in the 4th quarter of 2026, with the promise of turning its gorgeous world and ambitious mechanics into something truly transformative if the team can pull it together.
My hand. Return to the past. Neither man nor God, living.
Silver Palace invites you into the shimmering, steam-filled alleys of Silvernia, a Victorian industrial metropolis powered by the mysterious substance Silverium. You play a detective returning home, only to find the city tangled in the schemes of corporations hungry for control, criminal underworlds sharpening their knives, cults whispering in the shadows, and royal intrigue threatening to erupt. You lead a party you can switch between in real time, each character contributing their own skills to combat, investigation, and traversal grappling hooks let you swing between towers. Flying mounts carry you across the skyline, and battles blend melee intensity with stylish shooting. This anime-inspired world hums with secrets, ambition, and danger, an entire city built on mystery and corruption waiting for you to unravel its truth.
Fairy tale. You are the author.
Little Devil Inside brings you into a peculiar Victorian-era world where the line between reality and the supernatural has quietly collapsed. You play as an explorer for hire, roaming remote lands and haunted regions to investigate paranormal disturbances and confront monstrous threats. The game mixes action, survival, and strange atmospheric quiet, moments where the world feels eerie, beautiful, and unpredictable. But behind the scenes, the development has been turbulent. Years of silence, delays, and uncertainty led to a candid update in 2024 where the downsized team reassured fans that the project is still breathing. What remains is a uniquely stylized adventure full of personality, mystery, and danger. A journey through a world where every expedition feels like stepping into a storybook laced with nightmares. Mortal Shell 2 returns with the cold, metallic bite that defined the original, but now the world opens wider, darker, and far more brutal. The developers have confirmed a massive expansion in scale, a larger open world, far more freedom of movement, and an arsenal of new weapons and shells you can customize in depth. Over 60 dungeons are hinted, each promising punishing enemies and atmosphere thick enough to choke on. Bosses tower larger, landscapes sprawl farther, and the combat sharpens into something even more unforgiving. Coming to PS5, Xbox, and PC, the game is targeting a release in 2026, promising a Souls-like adventure drenched in heavy metal energy, grim determination, and the fantasy of wielding fallen warriors' bodies as your own. The Blood of Dawnwalker lifts you into a grim medieval world shaped by plague, war, and the rise of vampiric power. Developed by Rebel Wolves, a studio born from the minds behind The Witcher 3, this Unreal Engine 5 epic places you in the skin of Cohen, a half-human, half-vampire torn between his monstrous instincts and the last fragments of his humanity. Set in a 14th century Europe-inspired landscape, the world spreads with gothic dread, towering castles, moonlit forests, and factions wrestling for control as darkness grows. Cohen's struggle is personal and political, choosing who to trust, what kind of monster to become, and how far to push the power burning inside him. Launching in 2026 on PS5, Xbox, and PC, it promises a sweeping, emotional, blood-soaked RPG adventure.
The vampires didn't come to kill us. No. They tried to... A Dawnwalker.
Showa American Story hits you with a bizarre blend of retro neon zombie horror and 80s-style Japanese pop culture, all set in a twisted version of post-apocalyptic America. You play as Chuko, a girl resurrected into this chaotic world where Japanese influences have overtaken the ruins of the United States. The landscape is a fever dream of old-school posters, neon arcades, decrepit diners, mutated monsters, and hordes of zombies. Combat is fast, bloody, and stylish, pushing you through waves of enemies with a mix of flair and brutality. Beneath all the absurdity lies a gritty survival RPG adventure where nostalgia collides with grime, and every fight feels like a B-movie brought to life with sharp action and humor.
てる女を人間大砲で空に打ち上げれば空に輝く星になるんだ
Of Peaks and Tides throws you into an open-world survival sandbox shaped by ancient Eastern mythology and living, reactive physics. The world isn't just a backdrop, it transforms with your actions. You build settlements, craft tools, tame chaos, and survive shifting natural disasters like floods, blizzards, sandstorms, and storms that roar out of nowhere. You can play alone or join others as you face colossal beasts, mystical forces, and divine wrath. Every structure you build, every resource you gather, every choice you make feeds into a system designed around freedom and emergence rather than a fixed narrative. It's a world where survival means bending the elements, carving your own story, and standing your ground as the forces of nature rise against you. In Forza Horizon 6, you roar into the glowing heart of Japan, where neon arteries pulse through the cities and quiet mountain roads whisper old stories of drifting legends. The Horizon Festival unleashes you across Tokyo's electric maze, serene rice fields, snowy alpine passes, and highways drenched in cherry blossom pink. You arrive not as a hero, but as a newcomer, hungry to carve your own legacy into the asphalt. With each drift, jump, and full throttle sprint, you feel the cultures, the atmospheres, and the raw automotive passion shaping the journey. Seasons shift, the weather breathes, and every road becomes an invitation to master speed. Whether you're racing friends, tuning your dream machines, or chasing the perfect line through mountain night fog, this chapter is all about defining who you are in a world built for pure velocity. In The Outer Worlds 2, you step into the boots of an agent working under the Earth Directorate, sent to investigate strange disturbances in the star system of Arcadia, a place where reality itself is beginning to unravel. What starts as a routine mission quickly cracks open into a war of factions, secrets, and shifting alliances, with rifts tearing through space and time. You explore alien landscapes that bend the rules of nature, confront corporations hungry for power, and navigate the thin line between order and chaos. Every decision spirals outward, changing not just the worlds you visit, but the people who inhabit them. You're not simply uncovering a threat, you're confronting the fracture within the universe and within yourself, forced to question who you truly are in a cosmos collapsing under the weight of its own contradictions.
But don't worry, you can still just blow shit up if you want. Best! At the center of it all is...
Aion 2 drops you 2 centuries after the shattering of Atreia into an era where the Tower of Aion lies broken and the wings of the Daivas are no longer the symbols of dominance. They once were Helios and Asmodeans, once divided by hatred, now hover somewhere between rivalry, memory, and uneasy change. You enter this world as a new hero, rising among floating isles, shimmering skies and ancient ruins, humming with forgotten power. Combat has shifted from flight-based skirmishes to more grounded, visceral action, reshaping the very way battles unfold. 8 new classes carve their own destinies through this world in recovery, each fighting for identity as the fabric of Atreia continues to fray. Your story becomes a bridge between what was lost and what might yet be rebuilt, a journey across skies that once carried angels, now shadowed by something new. Star Wars Eclipse takes you far beyond the age of emperors and rebellions, deep into the height of the Jedi, a golden era where the galaxy glows with hope, diplomacy, and discovery. But in the uncharted Outer Rim, beneath calm horizons and starlit skies, tensions simmer and destinies intertwine. You don't play a single hero, you live through multiple characters, each weaving into a branching narrative where every choice sends ripples through entire planets. Newly seen alien cultures, untouched worlds, fragile alliances, every decision can tip the scale toward harmony or conflict. This is the Star Wars galaxy before the shadows, when brilliance and danger walked side by side, and when a single action could define the fate of civilizations. Your path isn't just a journey, it's the creation of a legend. Nioh 3 thrusts you into a world where betrayal and destiny collide under the weight of a crumbling Japan. You play as Tokugawa Takechio, the heir meant to ascend as the next shogun, only to be consumed by treachery as his resentful brother rallies an army of yokai to seize power. Time fractures, temples fall into ruin, and warps in fate twist the land into something haunted and unstable. You advance through mist-shrouded fields and cursed battlegrounds, shifting fluidly between disciplined samurai technique and shadow-born ninja agility. The world opens wider than in previous chapters, but still carries the punishing Souls-like intensity that defines the series. Every strike echoes with the weight of legacy and vengeance, as Takechio battles both the monsters outside and the darkness clawing at his destiny.
How foolish of you to have entered the death battle.
The Legend of Khiimori carries you across the boundless steppes of 13th century Mongolia, where you ride as a lone courier bound to a horse of extraordinary lineage. The land stretches endlessly, windswept plains, distant mountains, and nomadic camps filled with tradition and uncertainty. Survival depends on your bond with your steed, mastering archery, reading the land, and uncovering ancient mysteries tied to the mythical wind horse known as the Khiimori Rumors. Speak of a spirit galloping across the sky, its presence tangled with fate, nature, and the soul of every rider. Your mission is more than delivering messages. It's a spiritual journey into the heartbeat of the earth and the essence of freedom that defines life on the steppe.
Ride, simply to follow the wind. I ride to remember where I come from.
Crimson Desert casts you into the war-torn realm of Pywell, a land once united but now shattered into roaming monsters, floating islands, and hostile factions clawing for dominance. You follow Cliff, battle-hardened leader of the Greymanes whose world collapses when betrayal strikes and his stronghold falls. Left with scattered allies and a broken legacy, he must rebuild his mercenary band and reclaim his honor. The journey sweeps you through political intrigue, savage warfare, and ancient secrets buried beneath the continent's fractured surface. Fire and steel shape your path as you overthrow tyrants, form uneasy alliances, and confront the enemy who destroyed everything you once commanded. The fate of Pywell hangs on whether you fight simply to survive or to lead a war that could reshape history.
We seek to correct this.
The Witcher 4 turns its gaze towards Ciri, the child of prophecy who has grown into a warrior wrestling with her power, her past, and her place. In a continent that will not stop changing, Geralt's era lingers in shadows and memories, but the world now looks to Ciri as both protector and potential threat. Monsters evolve, politics shift like storms, and ancient prophecies rise once more. As Ciri takes contracts, explores desolate battlefields, and unearths secrets meant to stay buried, she begins forging her own identity as a Witcher. Her power is both a gift and a burden, a force shaping the land, the fate of others, and the path she must choose. This is her saga, her reckoning, and her chance to define what destiny means on her own terms.
No compromise means how ambitious we are when it comes to bringing our vision to life with trade and mining. It's one of those places where you can meet shady characters or overhear gossip. It's how responsive the world is. Character actions directly affect what happens around you, sometimes even setting off
Avatar from the Ashes places you in the skin of Solek, a hardened Na'vi warrior whose homeland has been scorched and whose clan lies scattered, broken by a ruthless alliance between the Ash clan and human invaders. You awaken into a Pandora twisted by fire and ruin. Forests turn to cinders, glowing rivers of ash carving across the land, and skies still choked with the smoke of war. To reclaim what was lost, you must rally the surviving clans, unite the wounded tribes, and relearn the rhythms of a world fighting to heal. Every leap, every arrow, every roar becomes part of your survival as you rise not only to defend Pandora, but to rekindle its spirit. This is a story of vengeance, unity, and the fire that remains when everything else has burned away.
In this time, you have nowhere left to go. Dog Tag Warrior.
Babylon X unfolds in an alternate ancient world where gravity, magic, and science blend into a strange and unstable new reality. The kingdoms of Babylon and Egypt stand at the brink of collapse, cracking under ambition and the weight of power. You follow two intertwined destinies: Samson, a prophet turned fugitive burning with vengeance, and Leica, a young priestess of the moon cult pulled into a conspiracy older than recorded history. Together they wander through collapsing temples, soaring weightless towers, and sands hiding secrets capable of ending the world. Every choice reshapes alliances. Every truth uncovered pushes you closer to an apocalypse that may demand an unbearable sacrifice. Between prophecy and rebellion, Babylon X tells a story carved in starlight, shadow, and the final struggle for a world slipping toward oblivion.
You can run away from yourself as long as you want, but don't abandon those who are dear to you. What gives you no peace? Wandering through God-forsaken lands, putting your life in danger,